It's like, don't try this at home, folks.
All right,
We're
we did it.
Yep, I think we're on.
Yeah, all right. Our Las Vegas Triathlon Club member spotlight. And tonight we've got a super fast athlete with a really great amount of experience in the triathlon world, Epoy Timbol. Hey, Epoy, how's it going?
Doing good. How about you guys? How you
We're
doing,
doing
John, Bob?
great.
doing fine.
Yeah. Thanks so
Yeah.
much for joining us. And you're currently at, I'm sorry, say again where you're at right now?
I'm currently in Ventura County, Naval Base, Ventura County.
Well, thank you again for
And
your service. So, yeah.
Thank you
So
guys for the
this
support.
this is going to be a lot of fun to talk with you because you have such a really neat international triathlon experience, and you participate in our club events, and it's so great to have
Hmm.
you down there. It's wonderful to see what how fast someone can go at some of our races. It's really amazing. So we'll get into that, but before I get going too far, I'm going to turn it over to Bob Gamble for the first question. Hey, Bob.
Okay.
hey there, how you doing?
Good, good.
And
Good, good. We're
thanks
still good.
again, thanks again,
Yep,
Epoy.
yep.
And
Thanks for having me. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
oh, and it's an honor to have you on here. You crushed our last event, and I didn't think that that course could be done that fast. For everybody listening, he did the sprint course in 1 hour and 6 minutes.
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
Well,
that's
yeah,
smoking.
we got Eric and Randy that kept me on my toes. I mean, pretty much
Yeah,
everybody, especially seeing Luigi there. I
yeah,
was like, oh, I
yeah.
gotta put my A
Oh
game.
Oh, I
So,
love it. I love it.
You brought out your A game for sure. But that was a great race.
Yeah.
And for everybody listening, well, it's Deo as we know him. Epoy can, but
Mhm.
Epoy's been doing triathlons for over 20 years, and I thought that was kind of odd because I thought he was 18 years old. He looked so young,
I
but
wish, I wish.
yeah. So, Deo, tell us two things. First of all, how and why did you get into triathlon in the first place? Like back in 20, what would that be?
So
2013. When was your first one?
my first one
24,
is
14,
2000,
04?
if I'm not mistaken, '04 or
Yeah.
'03. I mean, I'm still really young back then, but basically it's just because Dax and my uncle were actually swimmers. So we're actually a family of swimmers. And
Mm,
then Dax, my uncle, and one of our cousins actually got into cycling. Um, and then I think Dax also stopped, and then he decided to came back. But one of the first when he was at looking for races, one of the first race that he saw was a kids try. So he's like, hey, like Epoy can actually swim. I mean, I run for dryland training, but basically, long story short, that's how I end up joining because
Mhm.
it's just the first race that Dax saw was a kids try race, so he signed me up.
And you did all three events, not just one of them. You
Yes,
did
I
all
mean,
three.
it's a short triathlon. I think it's honestly a beginner level try. I think it's a 200-meter swim, a 5K bike, and a mile run. Which honestly, at a young age, I hated that last mile on the run for sure.
Yeah, that's a bunch. And for the folks listening, it was just quite a shock. And I'm going to let Apoy tell us. He's done Ironman before, and he did his first Ironman. And what was your time on your first Ironman, Apoy?
It's 9 hours, 39 minutes, and 31 seconds to be exact.
That's
Not to be
awesome.
not to be exact, yeah,
That's
nine
awesome.
thirty 31, and we're talking your very first Ironman.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's just insane.
And that was
So what?
Ironman Philippines?
Arizona,
Oh, Arizona.
Arizona,
Okay, okay.
2018.
Um,
Yes.
Wow, wow.
so tell us on that. What the heck? How did you get so fast in that? Were you training like crazy? I mean, what was your training regimen that got you up to that?
I mean, if John remembers, that was actually the year that we started Vitality, like Dax,
That's right.
me,
Yeah.
Dax, and the other
That's
guys.
right. That's
Hmm.
right.
And then I mean, I don't know, for some reason, I think as much as I don't want to say it, I think the iron distance just suits me well. Because when I was racing when I was younger, I'm not really fast compared to my peers. Like my teammates, like some of my teammates can run 34, 33, or even 32 minutes 10K of the bike, and I'm just more like a 36, 37 guy on a good day. So, like Dax was actually the one who spearheaded it. Like once I migrated in the States, he's like, let's see how you're gonna do on the 70.3 races. And then there's one race, I think it's Long Beach 70.4. Yes, it's actually 70.4, so that's what they call it.
Right.
I end up riding extra 10 miles on the bike. I don't know, for some reason I miss a turn. And then on the run, I think I ran a 129. So that gave Dax the idea that like even running the longer distance on the bike, I could still run. So he's like, that's what gave him the hint.
Oh,
And then around June of 2018, Ironman Philippines happened, and that's the inaugural race.
mhm.
And then, like I'm actually in Alcatraz. Wait, yeah, that was the Escape from Alcatraz weekend. And then the night before the race, I'm just browsing my phone. Everybody's already posting their race reports and stuff. So I was like, there's like a couple of athletes. I was like, I'm better than these guys, or like I started way before these guys, and now they're Ironman. So I just like talked to Dax. Hey, what do you think? Should I do an Ironman or not? And then he's like, yeah, sure, you can. My goal was just to finish it,
Oh,
but Dax, knowing my brother, he's more like my amplifier. I give him a goal, he
Yeah.
kind of like amp it up a little
Huh.
bit. So he's like,
Huh.
I'm gonna help you out, but we're not only gonna finish it, you're gonna finish it the fastest possible that you can.
oh,
So that's how we end up on that race.
We got to give a shout out to Dax and 3P too. We appreciate you
yeah.
and Dax supporting our club
Yep.
and volunteering all the time. So
For
so
sure,
we
for
we
sure.
we, we appreciate that. How'd you get involved with supporting our club? I know we're
So
jumping around a little bit, but while we're
yeah,
on the
like
topic,
it's all good. So as I've mentioned, that race, Long Beach, because that's pretty much where most of the 3P members are. So that's how we actually met them, and they're actually volunteers on that race too. So that's how we got into volunteering as well. And then, knowing Dax, that's just his nature. He loves helping out on the community, especially when it comes to the stuff that he loves.
Oh, I love it. And it takes, he always says it takes a village, to
Hmm.
really support everything that we do, and we being collectively here in Las Vegas. And you folks have been so great with supporting triathlon overall. So let's talk some more about some of the races that you did. Thinking
Hmm.
back, what
Yes.
do you think is your proudest moment of all the races that you've done?
Uh, uh, Probably, I mean, well, I think the 70.2 worlds for sure, like
Mm,
representing Philippines.
yeah. Tell
where
us
Mhm.
were
about
they?
that
Where were
race.
they held?
St. George, that 2020,
Oh, that one.
the
Okay.
Yeah, tell us about that race.
well, it's honestly, it's just, the first race. I think it's the first 70.2 worlds after pandemic, right? If
Hmm.
I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, I think 2018, 2017, I already qualified. I don't know where's the world championships, but I just felt like I'm not ready that year, so I didn't really took the slot. So when I heard that it was gonna be St. George, that was my goal. Like when they announced that 70.3 Worlds is gonna be in St. George, that's just, like I'm looking forward to qualifying, and then I end up qualifying. And then I think it's one of the first 70.3 Worlds that I actually um shared the course with more Filipinos. I mean, because like
Yep.
here, I mean, seeing it's not a lot of Filipinos racing, being said, it's international.
Hmm. I love that. That is so great. And so, yeah, that is the benefit of having a world championship in our backyard,
Hmm.
is that we get a lot
For
of
sure.
international racing there.
Hmm.
And that's a course that suits your strengths.
I think so. I believe
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
So how did you like the climb? And did you do the climb well?
I Yes, I did, but honestly, in St. George, I haven't really had like a perfect day per se. My first St. George, I got two flats. My second attempt in St. George, I was actually on pace to PR the bike.
Oh.
Got penalized 5 minutes, just to figure out at the finish line that I'm only 4 minutes short on the podium. So I don't know, but yeah.
Oh no.
But
Well,
but
And
it's a fun course. It's a fun course. Like what John mentioned, it's just in our backyard. So every time you do St. George, especially on the run, you'll always see familiar faces from from the Las Vegas tri community.
Right, right, right.
I love it. And you talked about having flats, you know, doing these types of long distance races, people often get into these dark spots in a race. And
Yes.
I'm wondering, do you get into that? Have you gotten into, and then how do you get out of those?
So the first one in St. George is I got the first flat and I still have my stuff to fix.
Yeah.
Funny story, after the second flat, I was actually thinking about calling it a day. But on that day, apparently my mom is actually in town. So I was like, there's no way I'm not gonna
Yeah.
finish
Yeah.
with my mom waiting at the finish line. So I kind of just like think about reasons for me to finish, like what happened in Texas. Like Ironman Texas in 2022.
Yeah.
I crash early on mile 10 on the bike, and then I hop on the bike around mile 15. My shifters aren't working.
Hmm.
So I end up riding the next 100 miles
Yeah.
for like on a fixed gear.
Oh,
Usually, like
jeez.
I just shift to plan B, like I'm already there. I mean, the shifters are not working, but the cranks is still spinning, so I can still go. So
Yeah.
I, usually my plan B is just like treat it as a training day and just enjoy.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
I love the attitude that you have, and I remember reading that on what happened to you in Texas as well. And I
Mhm.
mean, what a great, you know, refreshing way to approach triathlon. And you finished that race, and you had a fantastic run at Texas. And so you did exactly that. You said this is a training day,
Mhm.
but you really were able to crush, you know, that part of the race and walk away feeling really good.
Mhm. Yeah,
What
it's
what gear
funny.
what
Like
what gear
say
were
again,
you
Bob.
stuck in? What gear were you stuck in? Was it a high
I,
gear or low and you
Well,
were spinning?
it was at least a high gear. I think if I'm not mistaken, it's either I'm 5318 or 5315. But the thing is, knowing Texas, going to I forgot the name of the road, but like going out, it's
Yeah,
actually a little bit of a climb and a headwind.
yeah, yeah.
So I was actually mashing on the way out, and then on the
Hmm.
way back, not really
You were
cruising.
you were spinning.
Spinning out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like I think I'm going around like 35 miles an hour, like 115 RPM. So I was like, there's no way I could maintain this. So I'll just, like let the wind push me. I mean, the first, like, when honestly, at first, I was just, like, okay, I'll treat it as a training day.
Yeah.
I'll take what I can take. And then cyclist starts passing me. I'm just like, okay. But once the women's actually started passing me, that's kind of messed me up. I was like, okay, I got to do something. But what can I do? Like as I've said, I'm spinning 115 RPM, so
Oh,
just let them go.
that's great. Well, I love your attitude when I saw the report, and again, this is every time I see you racing, it doesn't matter what's happening. I see you, and you are thoroughly enjoying racing.
Yeah, I think that's what kept me in the sport for like
Yeah,
I honestly love the training, but like racing, I think that's where I'm actually I think in my element.
yeah, I love that. And so, what do you have coming up on your schedule?
Right now I only have Ironman California.
Ah, good deal.
Oh,
Huh. Now, this would be the first time you've done it, or you've done California before?
It's the first time I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Well, I was actually registered on the inaugural one, but it was canceled. That's the
Yeah.
slot. That's the slot I deferred for Texas.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, the bomb
so
cyclone.
so
The
you've
bomb
done
cyclone, yes.
Uh,
Texas and Arizona then those two?
Yes.
yeah,
So I've
Have
done
you haven't?
Arizona twice,
Yeah. Okay.
and then
Well, with the swim in California, you're gonna probably break that your PR. This
hopefully, I mean,
downriver
yeah.
swim.
well, let's see what we can do.
If
But
the wind
yeah,
cooperates,
yeah, if the wind cooperates, you know how it goes. Usually it's the bike that dictates the whole race.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
especially when on Ironman.
Hey, I've got to ask a question since I deal
Yes,
with a lot of the new triathletes that we have coming in and that are just getting started and the rookies. Two
yes.
questions. What would you advise and what advice do you have for people just starting out in the sport? And then two, you know, what 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 was the good advice that you got that got you started when you first, when you first started into the sport?
Well, honestly, for newbies, I'd say focus on the swim. Look for a really good swim coach. I
Hmm.
mean, it's gonna sound like a joke, but on the bike you can freewheel, on the run you can walk, but on the water, if you stop moving, I don't know, like hopefully not, but there's a big
That's a good way
possibility
to
of
put it.
drowning, right? Yep. Um, and then I think especially us, not a lot of people actually focus on the shorter distances. I think it goes in all aspects, running as well as just respect the distance.
Hmm. Oh, that's great. I love it.
Yep,
And
yep.
you seem to really excel. And I know you said you like going the iron distance, but you seem to be successful at every distance that you race at.
I mean, probably, but like I'm honestly struggling on the. I ain't gonna lie. I hate doing sprints. Like,
They're
like
hard.
if you're gonna ask me, like, would you do? I mean, of course, an Ironman, I'm not gonna do it. But like, if you're gonna tell me this weekend I'm gonna run a 5K or a marathon, I'd probably gonna end up running a marathon.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
love
it's probably not gonna be that fast, but like I know we have a handful of fast runners in the club, but like for us average runners, breaking 20 is
it. Yeah.
a lot of effort. And usually for me, going on 5Ks, especially here in Ventura, we do have every Wednesday night we do have like they have a high school 5K running,
Uh-huh.
and
Hmm.
you'll see here like I think I can hang with the high school kids for like a good 2 miles. And then
Yeah.
the last mile, they're just gonna go and then I'm gonna check the
Yeah.
results. Like all the high school kids were finishing around like 15, 16 minutes, and I'm right here, like barely hanging.
Yeah. But you're
You
loving
know,
every minute.
Hmm.
hey, I'm glad you mentioned that about the sprints being hard because a lot of people use the term, "Oh, it was just I just did a sprint." It's not
Hmm.
just a sprint. A
It's
sprint,
not just a sprint.
you're redlining
Mm,
the whole time. It
yes.
hurts.
Yeah. No, that is
So,
so true. Well, okay, so I'm going to get back to a little where Bob was going with advice. I'm
Hmm.
curious in terms of lessons you've learned
Hmm.
over this career that you've had.
I mean, because I mean, for me, I'm doing it for my fitness, right? Health and wellness. So I guess we're gonna focus on the health part.
Yeah.
So um, definitely listen to your body. Like don't let like make an injury or like wait for an injury to be really worse before you actually do something.
Hmm.
As my brother would always say, prevention is always better than cure.
Hmm.
yeah.
So I've seen because I guess you guys know, like, because I'm actually helping Dax on the coaching side too. And usually, as coaches, we all know, like, coaches would actually agree with me. The hardest part, especially on high strung athletes, is holding them back. Like, you
Mm.
get messages like, "Hey, coach, I'm not feeling well today. Is it okay if I skip a day or two?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." But there's like, "Well, I feel like I need to go swim, but you just told me you're sick, or you just told me this. You have a pain here and there, so might as well, like rest a little bit or whatever." And then you're just gonna see in Training Peaks or Strava or whatever app that you use to monitor them, like you're just gonna see them like still doing something, and then they cut it short. So
Hmm.
pretty much that way.
Hmm.
And you're saying don't do that. You're saying
Yes, don't do
rest.
that. Yeah, yes, rest is the priority. Like honestly, now I'm actually enjoying. I'm actually um It's actually funny. Like I actually started sleeping at 9 p.m. like just this week. Like
Hmm.
I started Monday because I usually go and probably go my bed around 10 p.m. and then go through my phone till around 11, sometimes 11:30 or
Uh-huh.
midnight. But
You know
now,
better than that too.
yeah, right now, like I'm enjoying because around 8:50 I take all my gadgets off, and then hopefully around 9 I'm already
Yeah.
asleep, then wake up around 3 or 4, do my morning workout before going to work. It's actually working pretty well. I mean, I'm only like
Yeah.
4 days deep, but like yeah, I'm enjoying how much rest I'm actually having.
You're resting well, getting your
Hmm.
gadgets off before and not keep letting them keep you awake. And so you're getting by in like 6.5 hours of sleep.
Actually around 7.5.
7? Okay. Cool. Very good. And John's smiling. He's saying, "Bob, are you listening to this?"
That's right. That's right. Uh, oh, this is
But
great. Boy, this has been so much fun talking with you. I love seeing you race. I love racing with
Thank you,
you when
thank
we're
you.
out there. And
For sure.
I really appreciate you taking the time to join us on this spotlight. What a
Mm.
fabulous career you've had already, and it's not over, and you've got a lot more race in
Hopefully,
you.
yes.
Yeah,
Looking
and you know,
forward to it.
I
Are
think
you
the
gonna
next,
are you gonna do the race on the 7th, July 7th
Uh,
here at the club?
uh, when I mean, Bob, you're a vet, so you know. Like I think we have a 96 that weekend, but I don't know if I'm in
Okay.
town.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
I'll try. I'll try.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's great. And you know what I'm so impressed, Depoy, with you is you just have a genuine passion for the sport, and it comes
Mm,
through. And I just love the very positive attitude. No matter what, you have a
Mhm.
great attitude, and I think that's a real great message that people can hear is just how to approach the sport. So I'm looking forward to seeing you crush California. That'll
Thank
be a
you.
lot of
Thank you.
fun. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having
yeah.
me.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Epoy. That was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob.
All right, have a good evening, everyone. And
Yeah, for